Hello, everyone. Welcome to Your Caribbean News and Culture. I'm Delinda Eiffel. We begin with news out of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, where earlier this week, Haiti's Foreign Affairs Ministry decided to pull their ambassador out of Dominican Republic due to DR's court ruling, which revokes Dominican citizenship from children of Haitian immigrants. Dominican Republic's Constitutional Court recently decided to block the citizenship of thousands of Haitians living in DR, which will affect over 200,000 Dominican-born people of Haitian descent. For years, the Dominican Republic and Haiti have had unstable relations, which may now continue due to this new court ruling that strips the citizenship rights from Dominican-born children of Haitian immigrants. Dominican officials believe the country court ruling will unify its country and eliminate any uncertainty of identifying children of immigrants by making them apply for residency and eventually citizenship. Due to Dominica's court decision, Jean-Robert Lafortune, the head of the Haitian American Grassroots Coalition in Miami, Florida, is looking to organize protests in front of Dominican consulates across the United States. Jamaica is possibly on a promising road to strengthening their economy as the International Monetary Fund approved the country's economic program created to reduce the high debt. Completion of Jamaica's first review under the Extended Fund facility results in the IMF Executive Board's approval for 19.97 million Jamaican dollars. Dr. Peter Phillips, Jamaica's finance minister, is hoping for the approval to strengthen Jamaica's fiscal position and to create conditions that will sustain economic growth. The country's unemployment rate has increased to over 16%, so Phillips hopes this newly approved funds from the IMF will also lead to a gradual growth in the job creation in the country. Currently, $1 equals 102 Jamaican dollars. The 34th Annual Crime Stoppers International Conference took place in Barbados this week, where the key topic at hand was implementing a system that would publish the names and addresses of sex offenders in the country. Child abuse survivor Lauren Book, who founded the Lauren's Kids organization here in the United States, spoke at the conference and urged Barbados to take a firm stand against child abuse. Book argued that listing the information of sex offenders will make life safer for children and parents, allowing them to be knowledgeable and know about where potential sex offenders may be around them. St. Lucians are expressing great rage and concern regarding the growing number of unsolved crimes in the country. The list of homicide victims for 2013 continues to grow, with the 24th homicide occurring in mid-September. Of the noted 24 homicides in the country thus far, only 7 arrests have been made. Frustrated residents of the country are continuing to organize marches and protests to end the violence in St. Lucia and to initiate a more proactive response from law enforcement officials. The Commonwealth of Dominica swore in their new president, Charles Sarvin, earlier this week. In late September, Sarvin was elected president of Dominica by the country's House of Assembly. Sarvin is a member of Dominica's Labor Party and has a long distinguished career as a teacher, a trade unionist, a diplomat, and a government minister. The Prime Minister of the country is still Roosevelt Skerritt. Well, it's October, which means here in the U.S. it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Coming up next in our Culture Check segment, we here at YCNC will take our stride against breast cancer by chatting with Eileen Boyle, who is a chief technologist at Codman Square Health Center. She's going to inform us all about screening and preventative measures. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're on your way to meet up with friends, but you can't seem to get anywhere quickly. You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. Five seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Welcome back to your Caribbean News and Culture, everyone. Now, as we know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so it's only right that we dedicate our first culture chat here at YCNC towards raising awareness about breast cancer. Now, a couple of facts I have for you guys. According to the American Cancer Society, this is 232,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed this year. 64,000 of non-invasive cases, which means the earlier form of breast cancer, will be diagnosed this year. And about 39,000 women will die from breast cancer this year. So joining us here from Codman Square Health Center, we have Eileen Boyle, who is the Chief Technologist over at Codman Square Health Center. Welcome, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
So the first question I want to ask is probably the most basic question there is. What is breast cancer? In layman's terms, you know, it's cancer in the breast. But from a medical standpoint, what is breast cancer?
Breast cancer is a malignant tumor, which is cancer cells inside the breast. And these cells can either stay in the breast where we like to locate them, or they can go to surrounding tissue or even spread into further organs in the body.
Okay. Now, often when people speak of cancer, they speak of breast cancer rather, they speak of it being high risk or low risk. What makes someone high versus low risk?
Low risk, well, actually all women can get breast cancer. Just want to clarify that. Everyone is at risk.
Right.
The higher risk women are women who have a history in their family, a mother, a sister, a daughter. They need to be especially careful because they may carry a genome in their DNA.
Okay.
That they're subject to having that, unfortunately.
So that's what makes someone high risk.
High risk,
Okay.
yes.
And then everyone else just falls under the category of low risk.
Right. You don't want to underestimate the low risk because we still see plenty of women who have no family history that can get breast cancer.
Right. Okay. Now, cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in women. The first is lung cancer. Now, that's a big factor. But there are steps that women can take, which is getting a mammogram. Talk to us about what a mammogram is and what that process entails.
Okay. A mammogram is an X-ray of the breast, okay? And basically, we have our patients come in, they will put on a Johnny, they will come into the exam room, and we explain to them that their breast will go on a plate, okay? After the breast is placed on a plate, we have to bring a paddle down, okay? And this is where a lot of women have a lot of anxiety about the test. The paddle comes down, and the reason why we have to compress the breast is because we want to cut down on any motion, and we want to spread the tissue out as much as possible. Now, I encourage all patients to say to the mammographer, whoa, 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 too much.
Right.
Because we all have different levels of pain, okay? Some can tolerate more, some can tolerate less. So it's important for you to have a conversation with your mammographer when you're having that test.
Okay. So the mammogram is actually an X-ray process,
Yes.
which takes an image of the breast.
Yes.
And we actually have two images to show our viewers. The first is a breast with cancer. So in looking at that image, the mammogram can actually pick up a breast with cancer, and you actually see the cancer cells in that, right?
Yes, you can see the reason why mammograms save lives is because we can detect those cells before the patient fails them.
Okay.
Okay, we don't want any of those cells to grow to a size like a walnut or something hard.
Right.
And then the chances of that woman having a longer lifespan is cut short.
Okay.
The earlier, like in this image here, you can see that white density. That area there has been detected in a precancerous stage. So that the outcome for the woman, she won't have to go through as more aggressive surgery.
Okay. Now, it's important to note that while the mammograms pick up any sign of cancer, not every lump in a breast is cancer. Talk to us about that. What, if you feel a lump, yes, you should get a mammogram if you're at that particular age group, which is 40 or over. However, there are some lumps that may not be alarming, but the important thing is to get a mammogram so you guys can detect what's alarming and what's not. But what are some of those things that those other lumps may be in the breast?
There are many different things that can happen. One of the most common problems that women may face is a condition called fibrocystic tissue, and that means that their breast tissue is subject to cysts. So that means that they will feel lumps. These are women that really should make sure they do their self-exams.
Okay.
The more they do them, the more accustomed they get to exactly what that tissue should feel like. So if there are any changes, they can tell their doctor. There are cysts. There is a fibroadenoma. There was a case a couple of years ago where I had a very young woman that came in that had this lump for a good year and a half. And it was the size of an egg. And all it was a fibroadenoma, thank goodness. But, so she had it removed. But, these are things that, we worry about as mammographers saying, come in, don't wait, So,
Okay.
that's why it works.
Okay, now, if a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, what are her options for treatment, rather?
A lot of her options will be discussed through her primary care doctor and also the oncologist that will take over the case. There are many, many options, and the physician will explain to the patient, depending on the type of cancer cells, if they're slow growing, if they're aggressive. There could be a lumpectomy, which takes out the tissue. They may test the lymph nodes to make sure it hasn't spread anymore. But and a mastectomy is one of the, everything basically is by patient choice.
Okay, so it's specific
Ultimately, I encourage all patients to do your research, ask a lot of questions, and you have to really decide for yourself what the best option is.
Okay.
And then there's also radiation and chemotherapy, after possibly so that you can basically kill any cells that, may exist.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, but before that, I want to touch on one thing. A lot of times when it comes to, I don't want to call it a medical procedure, but when it comes to anything that deals with going to the doctor, a lot of people get worried about the costs, whether it be a deductible or a copay. We're now going through that in our country with the whole Obamacare madness. But tell the people about mammograms.
Right. There is no copay for mammograms.
Exactly.
Do not worry about any copays. And if you do not have insurance, Codman Square and all the health centers in Boston are making sure that you can sign up for some type of health care under the Obamacare.
So you guys have no excuse. Get your mammograms. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue chatting about ways that you can prevent yourself from your risks of breast cancer. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey girl, ¿qué pasa? My weekend was crazy, from what I can remember. Wait. Slow down, Chica. Take it easy. A what? A picture of me? Who sent it to you? How did she get it? I'm not even friends with her. You gotta send it to me now. This must have been from Saturday night. I was so high. Who do you think got it?
Hey, Lindsay? I wish you didn't smoke weed. You're not the same when you smoke. And I miss my friend. I'll be outside.
Welcome back to Your Caribbean News and Culture, everyone. You've just seen a little video clip about myths versus facts surrounding breast cancer and mammograms. And we've been here chatting in the studio with Eileen Boyle, Chief Technologist over at Codman Square Health Center. Now, I want to get to an interesting fact surrounding breast cancer, which is that when we think of breasts, we think of women. When we think of men, for me personally, I think of chests. Mm-hmm. Women, breasts, men, chests. Mm-hmm. However, while it is 100 times more common for women to get breast cancer, men too can get breast cancer. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. 1% of men will come down with breast cancer, and usually it's at a age of like 68 years old. Okay. It's at a higher age group, but I personally have seen young men who have come in with nodules, and we have taken mammograms on those men too.
Okay. Yeah. Another interesting thing surrounding breast cancer is that while it may be more common in white women, 41% of Black women have a higher mortality rate, which is a pretty unbalanced scale. It's more prevalent in white women, yet more Black women die of it. From your medical experience, why do you think that is?
Well, the primary reason is that African American women do not have their mammograms. Okay. A lot of that has changed, and the numbers statistically are changing, that we are catching more women with breast cancer at younger ages. In the Codman Square in the Dorchester neighborhood, a lot of women are the primary caretakers. They're responsible for everybody else, and we have to make sure that they take care of themselves, and we try and encourage and educate women to do that. There's a lot of fear too around mammograms, as some of the myths that you have, you showed a lot of your audience. Predominant, there's religious reasons too, that that there's fear there.
Point, yeah. And actually, a lot of your coworkers, you have a coworker who's Haitian American, and Bajan American from Barbados. So you guys actually create a very diverse and welcoming atmosphere over at Codman Square to.
Yeah, I have a wonderful team. Michelle is our mammo navigator. She reaches out to our patients all the time, making sure they get their follow-up. Yolande speaks Haitian Creole. If I didn't have her, I don't know what I would do. She is phenomenal. Kathleen is from Barbados. So there's always like that level of calmness. If there's a certain woman that I feel as though, oh, Yolande, you're going to have to take this case.
To give people that sense of comfort.
Right.
All right, now we have two images to show our guests, our viewers rather. And the first is basically the guidelines of when you should start getting a mammogram based on your age group. So at 40 years old or older, according to the American Cancer Society. At 40 years or older, you should get a mammogram. Around your 20s to 30s, you can get exams from the doctor. And then at 20, you can do your own, right?
Correct. All through life, you should always do your own self-exam. Your physician should be doing breast self-exams during your visits. And then when you hit 40 years old, you should definitely start having your mammograms. Okay.
Now, as you said earlier, all women are, we're all susceptible to to breast cancer. So there are things we can do throughout our lives. We actually have a slide of a list of 10 things that the American Cancer Society tell us we can do, which some of them include maintaining a healthy weight, getting plenty of exercise, scheduling timely doctor visits, practicing stress management. So there are things we can do to live a healthier lifestyle to lower our chances, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All of those.
Well, if you need more information surrounding breast cancer or ways to protect yourself, you can always visit Common Square Health Center. You guys are great over there. Feel free to visit. There are many neighborhood health centers, but you can feel free to visit Common Square Health Center. And that's pretty much all the time we have this week, but we thank you so much for being here. Oh, yes. So these are goodies that you guys give.
Yes, we do.
So this is like a wristband.
Right. For Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we always try and give little gifts to our patients so that their friends they'll tell their friends, and they'll tell their friends, and they'll all come in for
everyone loves a good pen. Who doesn't love this is a pretty pen? I'm going to put this at my desk at work.
Right.
So yeah, these are great things, and I think we owe it all to each other to really and truly just encourage each other to do the right things.
Right.
Right.
Go in with a friend if they're anxious.
Exactly. And
help each other out.
That's true. And we should encourage our parents, our friends, our sisters, and because it's very important, especially in the Black community. 41%, higher mortality rate. That's not okay. So we do owe it to each other to do our part. So that's all the time we have here. This was a very informative show. So make sure you catch the repeat of our show Saturday and Sunday at 10:30 a.m. We're always on the web, yourcaribbeannews.com. Give us that thumbs up on Facebook. Facebook.com/YCNC13. Eileen, thank you again for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That's all the time we have. Thanks to our lovely BNN studio crew. I'm Delinda Eiffel. Thanks for watching.